When considering a neighborhood for you and your family, it's essential to take into consideration school, safety, proximity to amenities, also personal preferences, as in what you are looking for in a community or what you're looking for in a neighborhood. And so today I wanted to talk about some of the neighborhoods in Lubbock that I think are amazing neighborhoods for if you are a family with kiddos and you just want an overall family atmosphere, family-oriented neighborhood, because at the end of the day, your family is what matters the most, and you want to make sure your family feels the safest. And also too, if you're looking for a sense of community, especially if you're just moving here and you may not know a whole lot of people, but you want to get to know your neighbors, you want to get to know the kiddos that your kid is going to be going to school with. And so I wanted to highlight just some of those neighborhoods that offer some amazing opportunities to do just that. And we're going to get after it right now. If this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about living in Lubbock, Texas, well then be sure to tap that bell and hit that subscribe button so that you can be the first to know about all things living in Lubbock, Texas. We get calls, texts, emails every single day from people just like you looking to make their move to Lubbock, and I absolutely love it. So whether you're looking to move in 9 days or 90 days, I'd love for you to either give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, send me a DM, or schedule a Zoom call, whatever is easiest for you. I'd love to connect with you and your family and see how we can help make you and your family have a smooth move to Lubbock, Texas. And so, as I mentioned, we're going to talk about a few different neighborhoods in the Lubbock area that are very community and family friendly, very family oriented here in Lubbock. And of course, I am not going to talk about all of the neighborhoods in Lubbock. There are some amazing neighborhoods that I'm not going to mention today, and there's no fault of their own. They're amazing properties or amazing neighborhoods, and a lot of kids live in the neighborhoods. It's just I really wanted to highlight some neighborhoods that really do have a lot going on in terms of there's amenities for the kids, lots of events or lots of scheduled neighborhood events, parks, pools, you name it, just kind of really just a big sense of community. So don't get mad or don't think that these are the only neighborhoods to live in. And I'm also going to talk about, some of these neighborhoods are going to range from $1 million, $500 to $1 million, and some of them are going to be around $200,000 to $300,000. So there is going to be a range depending on what you're looking for. Of course, I know not everybody falls into some of these specific neighborhoods, but I wanted to highlight them because you just never know. I wanted to make sure that I encompass a wide variety of different neighborhoods here in the Lubbock area. The first neighborhood that I wanted to talk about is Vintage Township. Man, is this neighborhood unique. It is by far one of the most unique neighborhoods, I think, in Lubbock, Texas, just because it looks like a neighborhood that does not belong in Lubbock. I think that's what why a lot of people are drawn to it, because it looks like it's straight out of a Hallmark movie. The houses are going to be very close together, so you gotta love your neighbor. If you're looking for some land, this is not the neighborhood for you. However, like I mentioned, so it's gonna be Hallmark characteristics. All of the front porches, or all of the homes are gonna have beautiful front porches. Some wraparound front porches. They're just gonna make sure that they have that front porch, because when the developer built this neighborhood, he wanted to make sure that anybody that lived there wanted to feel a sense, or had a sense of community, wanted to be sure that the kiddos could leave their bikes on the front porch or have tire swing in the front yard. Picture just I don't want to really compare it to Desperate Housewives or something like that, but it's literally out of a movie. But this neighborhood also is very unique, especially for Halloween. I know kids love to go to this neighborhood in Halloween. All of the front porches are decorated. I think even in the HOA, so there is an HOA, it's not very much, and I think even in the HOA, I think it mandates, I might be wrong, don't quote me on it, but I think you have to decorate for either Christmas or Halloween. But all of the homes are going to be decorated. They're so close together that you can fit in a lot of homes during the Halloween. You can get candy if you celebrate that. And so it's just kind of a fun place. A lot of kiddos, even if you don't live in Vintage, a lot of kiddos just come and swarm there. You get to hang out with a ton of kiddos, see a lot of kiddos. Let's see. They also have a great 4th of July block party. Maybe it'll be on like the 3rd of July or 2nd of July, depending on when the 4th of July lands on. But they have an amazing, just fun party at the pool. So they have a neighborhood pool. They have lots of events for like Father's Day, Memorial Day, you name it. They're probably going to have some type of an event in the summertime, especially situated around the kiddos, because let's face it, it gets hot here in the summertime. And so kids are going to want to be at the pool. The pool is always in use. The pool does not slow down. So I think that's another amazing amenity that the people that live in Vintage take advantage of, is just that is the pool. Vintage also has a town hall, which is super cute. It just is like a little town square. Not very big by any means, but it does have like a bell that rings every hour. There's also a farmer's market in the town hall on some Saturdays in the summertime. Just really cute, fun events that you can take advantage of if you live there. Let's see, there also is food trucks that come throughout the year. If you want to just get some food, there's like ice cream trucks or snow cones or something like that the kiddos love to go to. So there's a ton of just amazing things that the kids can take advantage of. You're going to see tons of kids, especially after school, hanging out, riding their bikes. They're going to love it just because a lot of their friends live there. Also too, a lot of kids ride I know they have their bikes and stuff, but they also have golf carts. And so they will ride their golf carts up and down the streets because the streets are very, very narrow. And so if that's something that you are not looking for, again, this neighborhood might not be for you. This neighborhood is really just about a strong sense of community and really loving your neighbors and just having your kids just grow up super close to their neighbors or their kids or their friends that live close by. But the streets are not very wide, and so it's really, really hard to navigate sometimes. And so, some directions, it's almost like a one-way, but you can go both ways. Some streets, are one ways, but yeah, it's especially getting like a fire truck down those streets is pretty interesting to watch. But anyway, they do have golf carts that the kiddos like to ride around in, and the speed limit's pretty slow, so it's just one of those communities that you really do feel like your neighbor, that you will get to know your neighbor. So around this neighborhood you have so many things around you. You are literally backing up to the HEB. It's right there. In some houses, yes, you can see the HEB. So if you don't want the view of the HEB, then you can move further back in the neighborhood. And then right by HEB, there's new Perry's Pizza that just opened. There's Vitality Bowl for like smoothies. There's another United or Market Street just right down the street if you don't want to go to HEB. There is Las Brisas, which is an amazing steakhouse. What else? There's so many things off of Quaker that you can take advantage of by living there. It's super close. There's a dentistry office in the neighborhood. There's an orthodontist. There's tons of doctor's offices too around there. Lots of breakfast places. So really, you don't have to leave and travel a really far ways to get really anything that you need that's essential. But also, I wanted to talk about the homes in that neighborhood. So the plat map is a little over 750 homes that are in this subdivision. They range from about a 2.2 to around a 5.3. So it is great for retired couples because it is low maintenance, and you can find a house that's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, just a super quaint little townhome. Not a ton of maintenance, not a ton of rooms to clean, not a ton of surface area. And you're pretty much looking at about 1,500 square feet to about 5,000 square feet, depending on obviously how many bedrooms and bathrooms you want. So whether you have a large family and you have kiddos and you want them to be involved in the community, or if you're a retired couple too, this is also a really great area for you to look into because there is a lot going on if you still want to be a part of a community, but it's just lower maintenance on you. So I wanted to talk about some market stats just really quick, and I know these changed, so don't hold me to it if you're watching this video a long time from now, but in the last 6 months from when this was recorded, the average sales price was $385,000. Now, that also does not mean that we don't have homes in this area that go for above that. We do see homes for over $500,000 in this area, $700,000 at some. Not a lot, but you can see some of those just really, really big homes. The average days on market is about 50 days, and you can find new construction in this neighborhood. So they are building new construction currently, and they did start this neighborhood in 2007 is when construction began. So it is definitely one of those neighborhoods that's continuing to grow, continuing to be remodeled, continuing to have more and more families move in or move out. So it's just an overall great community. And so what I'm gonna do is I will go ahead, drive in my car so that way you can kind of see some of what the homes look like, and you'll really understand what I mean by Hallmark. The second neighborhood that I wanted to talk about today actually butts up against Vintage Township, and so it is Oakmont Estates, or Oakmont as well. So driving through Vintage, you can get through Oakmont. You'll know when you're in Oakmont when the houses start having a little bit of land or lawn between them. They're not gonna be on like acre lots by any means. It's just your typical average lot size, 0.12, 0.15, acre lots, 0.25. Depending on where you're at, but you'll at least have you're gonna have some space in between your neighbor. Unlike Vintage goes up. So most of the homes are gonna all be 2-story homes. And then however in Oakmont, you'll have a mixture of 1-story, single-story homes with a mixture of 2-story homes. The construction began in 2012 in Oakmont, and this neighborhood is going to be more of a luxury neighborhood. And if you haven't watched my videos on the luxury neighborhoods in Lubbock, go ahead and, because I talked a little bit more about Oakmont and just more in detail about the market numbers and some of the homes in that area. But I wanted to talk about it too, just because it does butt up against Vintage, and a lot of people do love Oakmont just because it is, you just have more room to breathe, but you are still able to take advantage of some of those amenities, some of those factors that, or some of those things that happen in Vintage Township, like the food truck events or like the pool, and like just the great sense of community with being with friends and golf carts and everything like that. So since this neighborhood, is really similar, really close to Vintage, you're gonna have a lot of the same amenities that Vintage does as far as the proximity to the amenities. So like H-E-B, Las Brisas, all of the restaurants that I just mentioned, except however, you can't access Slide. And so Slide has even more opportunities for you to find restaurants and things to do. There's tons of restaurants over in that area as well. There's a Chick-fil-A. I mean, there's not really a shortness of food to go around, whether you're on Quaker or Slide. It's just kind of depending on what you're in the mood for. You'll have some workout gyms on either Quaker or Slide. Stride just opened up. I don't know if you're familiar with Stride, but a lot of people in the south part of the town, like Oakmont and Vintage, they love that this opened up because it is a gym where it's a treadmill gym, monthly membership for treadmills, and they have weights of course too, but they really didn't have something like that on this further south past 98. So it was nice for that to finally open. Perry's Pizza, like I mentioned before. So there is tons of things to do, things and amenities that you can take advantage of when living in Oakmont. However, the prices are gonna be a lot different than in Vintage. Not necessarily different as in, drastic as in like 200,000. You're gonna be more of the luxury neighborhood. You can find homes from around 500,000 up to $1 million. And so you're a little bit over $1 million too sometimes, depending on if it's a parade home or what year it was built. But like I mentioned, it was started building around 2012, and there is new construction today. So if you're wanting a newer home, you can build in this neighborhood. These homes are going to be more modern, very, very modern homes, very just lots of glass, lots of blacks, black undertones, and the browns. I know the blacks are very in right now. I don't know if they're going away anytime soon, but the black handles and the black fixtures or golds, and so you're just gonna have very more modern features. Some of these homes are gonna have pools just because you have a bigger lot, you're able to put a pool in. So I wanted to highlight Oakmont just because it does have a little bit of a different feel than Vintage, but if you are still wanting that sense of community. I wanted to mention that both of these neighborhoods, they are both in Cooper ISD. So that means Cooper High School, Cooper Middle, and Cooper Elementary. So if you want to be in Cooper ISD, then these homes or these neighborhoods would be great for you and your kiddos. The third neighborhood I wanted to talk about is actually a little bit outside of Lubbock, and it is in Wolfforth. Not very far outside of Lubbock. I mean, it's literally right on the border, but it is Preston Manor. Preston Manor is an amazing neighborhood if you are also wanting that sense of community, because they really, really do want you to feel like you are in a sense of community if you live in Preston Manor. They have one of Lubbock's finest tennis courts is in Preston Manor. They have 2 pools, they have a splash pad, they have an outdoor fireplace and patio, they have hiking and biking trails, they have a dog park, they have basketball courts, they have an indoor meeting facility where you can go in indoors and meet. I mean, they have locker rooms, they have a boutique gym. It's awesome. It's literally just like a little community, little sense of community. If you do live there, you do have access to all of these amenities, which if you are looking for an amenities, I think it's a great place for you to go out, meet some people, especially at some daycare centers, in the neighborhood, because there's going to be people that are constantly at the parks, constantly at the splash pads or the pools, 2 pools in the neighborhood. And so it's just a great way to go out and meet some neighbors and some kiddos. So this neighborhood also features 4th of July parties, Memorial Day parties. They have food trucks for the kiddos in the summertime, like ice cream, very similar to like what Vintage had in Oakmont, but this is just gonna be west of town. So it's southwest of town, a little bit outside, a little bit right inside and outside the loop, really kind of depending on what you're looking at, but it's so close to the loop. And so if you are wanting something, I mean, you are minutes away from really anything that you need, especially the Canyon West Shopping Center. Target is right there, PetSmart. There's a lot of new local businesses that just opened up. I know there's a little Delish bakery in there. There's some chain restaurants that opened up in there. So, I mean, there's Sam's. So if you like Sam's, it's right, literally less than 5 minutes away from your house. So it is super close, super, super close to that shopping center, and then super, super close to the loop. If you need to get anywhere else, if you need to go south of town for any sporting games, it's really, really close. Also, too, if you like horses, the Equestrian Center is so close to Preston Manor. And so if you do plan on bringing a horse, or if you just want to buy a horse and keep it there, you can store it or board it at the Equestrian Center, which is really cool. But anyway, back to the neighborhood. It is just such a family-oriented neighborhood. People love this neighborhood if they live there. They do not want to leave this neighborhood. Also, another reason why they love this neighborhood is because if you do not want to be in Cooper, this neighborhood's in Friendship. So you are super, super close to Friendship High School. So if you're wanting your kiddos to go to Friendship or stay in the Friendship area, then this is an amazing neighborhood for you to look into. These homes are going to be a lot bigger. And I say bigger, they're not going to be super close together. You are going to have some homes that are going to be a little bit on, I don't want to say land, but a little bit more than your average lot size. They're not going to be super, super close together, but some are on half an acre, some are on a quarter of an acre, some are just a regular lot size. Majority of these homes, I say majority, half of these homes are gonna have some pools, just depending on how recent they were built or if the current owner wanted a pool. Some of them aren't gonna have a pool. The backyards are big enough for a pool for the most part. However, you're just not gonna have a ton of land if you have dogs or anything that your dog can run around if you do put a pool in. Majority of the exterior around the pools is gonna be turf, so it's not a ton of grassy area. So something to think about if you are wanting like a big backyard with no obstructions is you can find a house there without a pool. But if you want a pool, you gotta kind of have to give up some grass space, obviously. But anyway, so yeah, so these homes are gonna be a mixture of modern, updated, not super modern. I guess you kind of like Oakmont, but also too very modern traditional. You're gonna have a lot of brick exterior, stone exterior, pillars and stone, pitched roofs. Some of the homes are going to be 2-story, some of them are going to be 1-story. It's a beautiful neighborhood built by really renowned builders here in the Lubbock area. So I wanted to talk about some market stats over the last 6 months in Preston Manor. Now, you can find homes that are around the upper 300,000s. However, majority of the homes are going to be kind of ranging from the middle of 400,000 to 500,000, all the way up to $1 million. So you can find some amazing luxurious homes in Preston Manor, really depending on if you want land or how big you want your home. But the average list price over the last 6 months was about $490,000. And so you can kind of get an idea of, it's just very middle 500,000-ish. You can find a lot of homes in that area if that's kind of like your budget and your price range. Beautiful homes built around mid-2000s to today. They are still building some homes in Preston Manor. And if you want to, again, like Oakmont, there are some amazing builders that are one of the most prestigious builders in Lubbock are building in Preston Manor. And so we can connect you with a builder if you are wanting to build something, or we can connect you with a builder that might have something that is already, might be going up, but might have some flexibility in there. So if you're not wanting to start from the ground up, so there is a lot of options for you, or if you're just wanting an existing home, so there are some options for you if you're looking in that price range. And I did want to mention something that I think is pretty cool. And I say pretty cool because as of right now, Lubbock has only 2 electricity providers, and you do not get to pick who your electricity providers are. And you have Lubbock Power and Light, or SPEC, or South Plains Electric Co-op, SPEC. Friendship or Wolfforth in Preston Manor is in SPEC. So typically, SPEC does have a little bit of a less expensive bill, which is good. However, coming this fall, we are getting more electric providers that will be coming into the Lubbock area. But I did just want to point out that as of right now, you do get to take advantage of the SPEC electricity. Okay, so now let's get in my car. Let's take a look at some of these beautiful homes in Preston Manor and take a look at some of the tennis courts or country club, the club that is in this neighborhood. So I'll see you there. The next neighborhood that I wanted to talk about, we are going back east. So we're going to be in southeast Lubbock. We just came from southwest Lubbock. Now I'm moving to southeast Lubbock, and we are going to be in the neighborhood of Bell Farms. So Bell Farms is another great neighborhood that is going to be more of your upper middle class homes. They are going to also be on SPEC, which is pretty awesome. And like a lot of the other neighborhoods that we've talked about today, they also do have amazing amenities for the kiddos. They have about a 2.5 mile hiking or walking trail. They have a few parks in this neighborhood. A lot of people like to take their kiddos to the parks. And then also too, they will have some food trucks in the summertime for the kiddos to come and take advantage of. They have 4th of July watch parties. They have Halloween decorations, Christmas lights, just the same as the other ones. So it's just a great neighborhood if you are looking for something that is not too far out of your budget or stretching too far. Majority of these homes are going to be around the 200,000 to 300,000. And so one thing I wanted to point out, and I'll talk about the prices here in a second, but one thing I wanted to point out is this neighborhood is built all by one builder. So this is just one builder. It's not a bunch of different builders in Lubbock, and they only have a set number of floor plans. So they have 4 or 5 floor plans you can choose from depending on when you want to look. And so it's a great opportunity if you are wanting to either build a home and you just but you don't want to necessarily have a custom home, and you just want to say, hey, let's pick a floor plan, either a 3-bedroom or a 4-bedroom, either a 2-bath or a 3-bath. And then also to what price range are we looking for? What square footage are we looking for? You can purchase a home anywhere from 1,100 square feet to 2,600 square feet. So if you want a small little 32, or if you want a large 4-bedroom, 3-bath at 2,600 square feet, then you can have that here. And so a lot of these homes, they're gonna look pretty similar on the outside. There are gonna be some differences, of course. They're not identical, don't get me wrong. They're not identical, but some of these are gonna just have pillars. You're gonna be able to customize the colors. You're gonna be able to customize if you want brick or stone. You're gonna be able to customize, what color granite you want if you are building through the builder. And if you wanna add in blinds, if you want any sod, stuff like that. It's just kind of basic. But it's a great option if you are just kind of looking for something middle of the road. You're not wanting to spend, $500,000, but you also want something newer around the $200,000 price point. Well, you can find that here. And like I mentioned, a lot of newer families, a lot of young families like this neighborhood because they can't afford it. It's not out of their pocket. It's not out of their reach necessarily, especially if you purchased a few years ago. There is existing homes there, and there's also new homes being built. So you can get the best of both worlds, just like in some of those other neighborhoods. And also a lot of these homes and a lot of these builders, or a lot of these homes would make amazing rental properties. So I have some investors that love to invest in Beat Bow homes or this neighborhood because it's quality home for really inexpensive, and you can get families in there because they love the school district in Cooper ISD, and majority of the time you can get families that stay there a long time. It's just they love it, and it's just lower maintenance. They're going to be a little bit more, but it is lower maintenance on the back end of things. So a lot of investors like it. So if you are wanting to maybe start your investment portfolio, but you don't necessarily want to spend a bunch of money on one investment house, then you can live in this home for 2 to 3 years, use it as a stepping stone, and then go and buy your next property, keep this home and rent it out and just refinance it and take the money out and go purchase a new home, because this neighborhood also holds its value really, really well. This neighborhood is going to be super close and easy convenient to the new Loop 88. And so if you are not wanting to be super close to a loop and you want to just kind of stay away from the hustle and bustle and you are scared that you might hear it, this neighborhood might not be for you. But if you are wanting to be super close to the loop for easy access, then this neighborhood is a really, really great option. Also, wanted to talk about, some things that are close by to Bell Farms. And there's a lot of things that are close by. You're off of Indiana in the loop, or in 1585. And so there's a United Market Street right there. Literally less than 5 minutes from your house. Super, super close. There is the range. So if you want to go and hit some golf balls and you want to you can bring your kiddos there. A lot of people bring their kiddos there. You bring your own golf bag. You go out, hit some balls. They have great pizza, bucket of beers, bucket of balls. It's a really great place to hang out. Cook's Garage is really close by. I know I've mentioned that before. It is not very far from this neighborhood. So if you just want to go and enjoy some live music, eat some good food, catch a concert, not very far at all. There is also just great shopping centers all up and down Indiana. There's some Rosa's Cafe, which is like a taco place. There's some places to get your nails done. There's a lot of just kind of chain fast food restaurants, daycares. You will be close to some of the daycares if you choose to go. There's some daycares over in that area. So there's a great overall area to be in this part of town. So I wanted to talk about some market stats really quickly. In the last 6 months, there were 50 homes that were sold. So this neighborhood does have a ton of turnover because, like I mentioned, this is a great starter home for families. And so really the max of people stay here is 3 to 5 years. They're not staying here a ton. We do have some retired couples and families that live in this neighborhood because it is such a lower maintenance neighborhood and a great place to live if you want to have a sense of community. However, a lot of people don't stay here long, or they use it as a stepping stone, like I mentioned. And so 50 homes that have sold in the last 6 months. The average sales price is $235,000. So that kind of gives you an idea of what you can find a house for. Obviously, the smaller the home, the smaller the budget, the bigger the home, the bigger you can get. So you can go up to 300,000-ish, give or take. And then typically, like I mentioned, your average home is gonna be around that 230, 250 price point. So let's get in my car. Let's take a look at some of these homes. The last neighborhood that I wanted to talk about today is Melanie Park. Melanie Park is, I've mentioned this before in a couple of my videos, but it is such a little gem inside of the loop. However, so Melanie Park is in Lubbock ISD, which means lower taxes. So if you are wanting something with lower taxes in a great school district, in a great zoned elementary school as well too, well then Melanie Park or Melanie Park South would be a great option for you to look into. So there's two different technically neighborhoods. There's Melanie Park and Melanie Park South. So Melanie Park is off of Indiana and inside of the loop, and then Melanie Park South is right outside of the loop of Indiana. And now both are zoned to LISD. However, the difference is going to be if you're in Melanie Park with inside the loop, then you are going to be zoned to Miller Elementary, Evans Middle School, and Monterey High School. If you are outside of the loop, you are in Melanie Park South, you're going to be zoned to Honey Elementary, to Evans Middle School, and Monterey High School. The difference is the elementary school, Miller and Honey. Both are extremely sought after elementary schools in the Lubbock ISD area. And so you really, really can't go wrong. You know, I think it's just gonna depend on what house you can find if you really do wanna be in LISD and if you wanna be in Miller or Honey Elementary. And so, like I mentioned, I mean, they're both really highly sought after, both in LISD, so lower taxes. Also, a difference in the two neighborhoods is Melanie Park South is actually going to have an annual HOA fee of $155 a year, which is not a ton, it's not a lot, but you do get to take advantage of a pool that they have there. They have Miller Park, which is an amazing, just overall, and a lot of people love this park. A lot of people come and walk their dogs even if they don't live in this neighborhood. And then also there's a clubhouse with tennis courts and playgrounds, and just, it's really just for groundskeeping, just making sure that everything is clean, maintained, and doesn't look a mess. You have Melanie Park Church, which is really, really close by. And then also too, just everything that you have, or everything you need is gonna be at your fingertips. Melanie Park and Melanie Park South, like I mentioned, is literally butts up to the loop. And so you might think it's loud. Again, it's not super loud. However, you can get anywhere you need to go. And then it's so close to the loop. So if you need to go south, then you can go south. If you need to go, west, you can go west, and then south, you just hop down Indiana and take Indiana all the way down south to wherever you need to go. And then as far as amenities that are close by, you'll have Orlando's, which is an amazing Italian restaurant, local Italian restaurant here in the Lubbock area. And you have a Walmart that's close by. You have some gas stations that are close by. You have KK's Corner Mall that's close, that's right across the street from Melanie Park, which has the tea room in it. So if you want to get a quick sandwich or an avocado, stuffed avocado, so good. Highly recommend. Sugar Brown Coffee is right there. There's a ton of amenities. I mean, literally at your fingertips in this area. And also too, just all of the fun stuff that the kiddos can take advantage of, all the parks. They also will have big, for the 4th of July or Independence Day and on Memorial Day, they have flags to represent our soldiers at the park, so you can take your kiddos there. Just, it's an overall really great place to take your kids. So the homes in this area are gonna be very ranch style homes. You're gonna have the big mature trees. Unlike the other neighborhoods, this neighborhood is a very established neighborhood with homes built from the early 60s to late 70s. So they're gonna be older homes. You're gonna have some mixed in homes that are not gonna be updated or partially updated. And you're gonna have some homes that have been completely gutted and remodeled. And so it just kind of depends on what you're wanting. Also in the last 6 months, the average sales price is around $300,000. You can find homes from around $200,000 all the way up to $500,000. It just really depends on, again, there are some gems and some just outliers in there. You can find them, they do exist, but majority of the homes are gonna be around $300,000 to $350,000. Like I mentioned, some updated, some not. So let's get in our car and take a look at Melanie Park. Hope that you learned a lot from the 5 neighborhoods that we went to today. All very, very family oriented, very family friendly. So if you have any questions about any of these neighborhoods, definitely let me know. Or if you're interested in maybe building or partnering with a builder in one of these newer neighborhoods, I'd love to connect you with them so that we can make sure to connect you with the right builder for your style, your sense of direction, and what you're looking for. But if you have any questions about the schools or anything like that, I do have a video about the Lubbock schools that you can watch. But I hope that, like I've said, I hope that you found value in this. As always, if you found this valuable, I'd love for you to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, so that we can be sure to promote more videos like this. And so if you have any other questions, leave in the comments below. And until next time, we'll see you around.